Hey everyone, welcome to this Git and GitHub crash course. Whether you are a beginner trying to understand the version control or an experienced developer looking to sharpen your skills, this course is just designed for you. Imagine you and your team is working on a major project. You make some changes, your teammate makes a different updates, and suddenly boom, the code conflicts and files are overwritten and you have no idea how to go back to the previous version and work from there. Sounds familiar, right? This is where exactly the Git and GitHub steps in to save your day. With Git, every changes is tracked and you can easily switch between the version without losing work, which means you can still have the opportunity to go back to the previous version of your code and to work from there. GitHub takes it even further by allowing seamless collaboration where multiple developers can work on the same projects. With Git, every change is tracked and you can easily switch between versions without losing your work, which means you still have the opportunity to go back to the previous version of your code and to work from there. GitHub takes it even further by allowing seamless collaboration where multiple developers work on the same project. That's why we have put this course, this entire crash course, where you will learn everything which is needed to confidently use Git and GitHub like a pro. So we have divided this entire course into 7 modules through which you will learn from the basics commands to the advanced concepts in a detailed manner. So with that said, if you are ready to master the Git and GitHub and boost your productivity to the next level, then stick with me till the end and let's dive right in. To begin our module 1, let's first try to understand what is Git. A Git is a distributed version control system used to track changes in code. It helps to manage different versions of a project, making it easy to revert to previous versions if needed. So what does this mean? Let's try to understand these statements with an example. Instagram is a very popular social media application. Say for example, they have released a new version of Instagram by making many changes in their older version. So in this new version, there is a bug. Say for instance, we can't like the post. It may take 2 to 3 hours, but in the worst case, it may take 2 to 3 days to debug this issue. So now Instagram can able to stop their service completely and work for these 2 to 3 hours to debug this issue. But that's not the good idea. So here is an alternative. By using Git, Instagram can able to go back to their previous version and they can able to publish the older version of Instagram. So now they are free to work on their new version to debug the issue. Because the Instagram is still running with their older version, so they don't even have to worry about stopping their service completely. So with this knowledge, let's see how you can download Git in your computer. Open any browser in your computer and search for download Git. Here you can see the official website of Git within that downloads menu. Go inside that one and you can see Mac OS, Windows, Linux. If you are a Mac user, proceed with Mac OS. I am currently working on Windows, so I am going with this one. Here you can see click here to download option. Click that one and your download will be automatically started here. Once the download is completed, open that one and give yes here. Give next for everything. Give yes. Next, 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 next. And give install. Once the Git is installed, we have to configure our email ID and username here, which means you have to provide our email ID and username to Git. So why we are doing that? Say for example, consider yourself as a team leader and your team is working on a project. Someone in your team had made some changes in your project which you don't want to be. Now you have to figure it out who did this change. At this moment you can simply check the log. There you can see the person who did the change with their username and email ID. So how to do that? In the command line, type git config global space user dot name space within double quotation type your username. Now we have to configure our email ID like the same. Type git config hyphen global user dot here email space within double quotation type your email ID. Press enter and that's it. Now in most of the cases you will be working in a code editor. So let's see how you can work with a Git in the most popular code editor, namely Visual Studio Code. Before that we have to download the Visual Studio Code here. If you are already having the VS Code, you can simply skip this tutorial. Open any browser in your computer and search for download VS Code. Here you can see the official website of Visual Studio Code. Go into this one and download for Windows. Your download will be automatically started here. Once your download is finished, open this one and click I accept the agreement, give next for everything, and here create a desktop icon. Give install, click finish after the installation and close this one. Let's open the Visual Studio Code. This is the window you will be seeing for the first time. Click the view and go to the terminal here. This is where we're gonna work with Git. Now we are going to create our first local repository here. Before that, what is a repository? A repository is just like a folder specifically made for Git. But the difference between the repository and the folder is the repository contains many features such as collaboration, merging, branching, etc. We will be looking everything in the later modules, but for now just understand this one. A repository is just like a folder in Git with many features. To create a local repository, open My Computer, go to any drive where you are going to create a local repository and here create a folder. Maybe I am naming this folder as local repository. We are going to convert this folder into a local repository. To do that, open the Visual Studio Code and open that folder within the VS Code. Click this one, go to the drive and select the folder. So yeah, that's it. Give yes, I trust the authors. So yeah, we have opened our local repository folder within the VS Code. Now go to the view section and open the terminal here. Make sure that you are within the local repository folder in the path. Now type git init to initialize this folder as a local repository. That's it. It has been initialized as an empty Git repository. So now, how to verify whether this folder is a local repository or not? To do that, minimize this one and open My Computer. Direct the folder which you have created as a local repository. Within that one, go to the View section, go to Show More and click the Hidden Items. Here you can see a hidden Git folder here. If this is available, then this folder is a local repository. So with this, we are about to end our module 1. So to summarize our learnings, we have seen that what is Git, how to download Git, how to download Visual Studio Code, and how to work with the VS Code terminal. And finally, we have created our first local repository. To begin our module 2, we have to understand what is GitHub. GitHub is a cloud-based platform that helps developers to store, manage and collaborate on code using Git. It acts as a remote repository where you can push your local Git repository, making them accessible online for collaboration, backup and deployment. So Git is just like a backbone for GitHub. To understand these statements, let me give you an example. Imagine you and your friends are working on a group projects for college, like creating a presentation or coding a simple application. Instead of everyone working separately and sending files through WhatsApp or email, which will definitely get messy, you can upload your project to Google Drive. This way, everyone can access the latest version, make updates, and track changes in one place. GitHub works the same way for coding projects. Developers upload their code to GitHub so their team members can collaborate, track changes, and deploy the projects easily, just like how Google Drive helps with the documents. Open a browser in your computer and search for GitHub. You'll be seeing this official website of GitHub. Go inside that one and you'll be seeing this window. If you have already signed in into the GitHub, just click the sign in option and enter your username and password to sign in. But if you are new to this GitHub, click the sign up button and enter your username, email and password and create your new account. It will be looking like this once you successfully signed in. Now I'm gonna show you how you can create your first Git repository here. Press this plus icon and inside this one we are seeing that new repository. Click the new repository and you will be seeing the owner name of this repository, which is your username, and the repository's name. I'm gonna create a dummy repository here with the name dummy, and this is a description section in which you're gonna type your general information or description about the repository you are creating now. So this is an optional one only, and then just press the create repository. Well, that's it. Your repository is successfully created. You can create a new file or upload an existing file from your computer. Now I'm gonna show you how GitHub is actually working by creating a new file. To do that, press creating a new file here and this window will be opened. So a new file has been created. You have to input your file name here. Now I'm gonna input tutorial as a file name and press enter here. Now I'm gonna type some content here. Yeah, that's it. Once you have created the file, you have to commit all the changes you have done. By clicking this commit changes button, you can do that. Now you can see a commit message section here. You have to give what changes you have made as a message in this section. So now I have typed that I gave a welcome message in this file. Then we are seeing an extended description. This one is an optional section. You're gonna give an extended information of what and all the changes you have made. After that, this commit changes button is there. To update all the changes you did, you have to press this button. Yeah, that's it. A file with the name tutorial and with a message has been created. Now again, I'm going to open this one and I'm going to edit this. By adding my channel name, I'm gonna make some changes with this file. After that, I again gonna give the commit changes and with a message channel name added. Yeah, give the commit changes button to commit all the changes that you have made now. So here you can see a button namely history. By clicking that one, you can able to see I gave a welcome message, channel name added. Both of these are the messages that I have given at the time of making changes in this file. Now I am opening the recently modified file, which is this one, and here you can see the changes between the past version and the new version of this file. So in this past version there is nothing here, and in the new version which I have modified just now, you can see the channel name with a message channel name added. So this is actually the power of version control system that Git is giving us. Even though if you have made some changes which you don't want to be, you can still have the opportunity to go back to the past version of your file. So with this, we are about to wrap up our module 2. To summarize everything that we have learned in this module 2, we have seen that what is GitHub, how you can set up your GitHub account, how to create a Git repository, the difference between the local and Git repository, how to create a file in the Git repository, and we have seen the power of version control system with the help of that file. Hello everyone, welcome to the module 3 where we are going to learn about some of the basic commands which we will be using in the Git and GitHub, and also how we are working on Git and GitHub in a combined manner where we will create some files and we will do some changes and we will send the files from the local repository to the remote repository which we have created in the module 1 and 2. So with that said, let's dive into the core concept which we should be knowing before getting into the module 3. Now, say for example, this is your code. Now, your code will be initially stored in the local directory which may be a folder or something in your PC. Now, if you made some changes in your code, then you should add those changes in your code by using the git add command. So this will take your changed code to the staging area. From this tagging area, you should be moving your changed code to the local repository which we have created in the module 1 itself. For doing that one, we are using a git commit command which will commit all those changes of your code in the staging area to the local repository. So now we should be pushing all those changed code from the local repository to the git repository by using the git push command. Now your code will be stored in the remote repository. The process will repeat for cloning or retrieving those changes or the code from the remote repository. So initially the files will be in the remote repository. Once if you cloned or retrieved the code or files from the remote repository, then that files or code will be moved to the local repository and then it will move to the local directory itself. So that's all the basics which we have to know before getting into the module 3. From there we can again make some changes and use the git add command to move those changed code to the staging area, and after that we can use the git commit command to move the changed code to the local repository, and then we can use the git push command to move those changed code to the remote repository. So we can do this process as a cycle for any times. So that's all the basics which we have to know before getting into the module 3. So this is what will happen underneath the hood once you have cloned or retrieved the files or code from the remote repository to the local repository and to the local directory, and if you done some changes and again you have added those changes and committed and pushed those changes again to the remote repository, this is the workflow which will happen underneath the hood. So that's all the basics which we have to know before getting into the module 3. Next we will see how we can actually work these git add, git commit and git push in our Visual Studio Code. Open the Visual Studio Code. Make sure that your terminal is within the local repository folder. And now we have to get the copy of the Git repository in the GitHub into this local repository that we have created. So to do that, open the GitHub again, and here is the dummy repository that we have created. Within that one we are having the tutorial file. So let's create some more files here. Press the plus icon, create new file and give the file name here, new file 1, and type some content here. After typing, give commit changes, give commit message, tutorial file. So now we have created some new files within this Git repository. After this, we have to get the data from this Git repository to the local repository that we have created in our computer. To do that, press the code button here. Within that one, copy the HTTPS link. Okay, now open the Visual Studio Code, and here make sure that you are within the local repository folder that we have created, and here type git clone and paste the URL that you have copied. Press enter and the cloning process will start it. So that's it. Your Git repository is successfully cloned into this local repository that we have created. Now you can work here in your code editor. All the files that we have created within the Git repository is now available in our local repository. So we can make any changes within this one. But the changes that we are making here will not affect the Git repository there. So now I am making some changes in this file. Now I have made some changes here. Now I am again opening the GitHub repository, the dummy repository, and I am opening the new file again, which we have made changes in our local repository. I am refreshing this page, but still there is no changes here. See, the changes in the local repository is not affected the Git repository. So what's happening here? To understand this one, we have to learn some concepts. We have discussed everything about git add, git commit and git push. Now let's try implement everything in our local repository. I have made some changes here. Now our mission is to update these changes within the git repository there. To do that, we have to use git add, git commit and git push commands. Let's try doing that. We have made some changes here. Now we have to type git add and the file name. It's new file 1. Click enter. Now it's showing me a fatal error. New file 1 did not match any files. It's showing there is no file named new file 1. I have typed git add and file name, but it's showing me error. So what's happening here? Because I'm trying to access the local repository, this one, but we should access the dummy repository, this one. In the terminal, to do that, we have to type cd and the dummy repository name. Click enter. Now see, the path of our terminal is changed to the dummy repository within the local repository. Now we are good to go. Now the path of the terminal is changed. Now we can able to add, commit and push our file. Let's do that. Git add, and again I am typing the file name 1. Click enter. Now it's success. Now let's type git commit with a message updated for greetings. Let's type this one and click enter. Now let's type the git push. Now until this one, the git add command is used to save our file within the staging area. The git commit moved our file to the working area, and the git push command is gonna push our file from the working area to the git repository. Let's try doing that. Type the command git push, where we have to push this file to the origin of this dummy repository, which is the git repository in the GitHub. Git push origin, and to which branch? To the main branch. See, we are working inside the main branch here. We can create multiple branches that we're gonna discuss in the module 4. For now, let's keep this in mind. We have to push these files to the origin, within the main file, main branch. Now, if you are doing this for the first time, it will be asking you to connect the GitHub to the Visual Studio Code. To do that, click sign in with your browser. This window will be shown up. In this, we have to log in with username and password that you have given in the GitHub there. I have given my login credentials here. Now click the sign in button. After doing that, it will be asking to give you the authorize here. Click that one. Yeah, that's completed. Now let's check the GitHub for changes. Open the GitHub and let's try refreshing the page here. Yeah, there it is. It has been added here. Hey there, myself Santhosh here and welcome to my channel. The thing we have updated here is now changed here too. So let's check for changes. Go to the history and here is the recent changes that I have made. Within that one, you can see the latest change that I have made in the local repository and then pushed that one to the Git repository here. Now let's try to learn about git pull command. Git pull is just the opposite to the git push. The git pull command is used to retrieve the changes which you have made in the Git repository to the local repository. Let's try doing that. Open the GitHub and let's try to make some changes in this file. Click the edit icon and let's do some changes here. Maybe let's add hello everyone in the second line and click the commit changes button here. With the default message, again click the commit changes. Now the changes has been saved in this new file. Let's try the git pull command here. Git pull and click enter. Now see here, it has been updated. Now this is the power of git pull command. As I said, git pull command is used to retrieve all the changes which you have made in the Git repository to the local repository that we are working here. Have you noticed that until now we have not used our local repository? We have just created the clone, which means the copy of the dummy Git repository in GitHub as the local repository in our computer. Remember that each repository will have an origin. So this dummy local repository will have the origin as the dummy Git repository there in the GitHub. Which means that if we push the changes that we are doing inside this dummy repository will directly affect the dummy Git repository we have created in GitHub. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete this dummy repository and I'm going to create a direct link between this local repository and the dummy Git repository. So if we are creating a direct link between this local repository and this Git dummy repository means the local repository will gonna have this dummy Git repository as its origin. Because of that, the changes that we gonna do inside this local repository will directly affect this dummy Git repository here. So to do that, open your Visual Studio Code and delete this dummy repository first. Yeah, now we are inside the local repository in our terminal path. Minimize the Visual Studio Code and open the GitHub again. Open the code button and here you can see the HTTPS link. Copy that one, minimize this one and open the Visual Studio Code again. Now inside this one type this command git remote. Remember that we have discussed in our module 2 that the remote repository means the repository which is accessible in the cloud, which is GitHub in our case. Git remote and we are going to add and we have to say that this is the origin for this local repository and give the link here. Press enter. Now we have successfully added the origin to this local repository. So which means the changes that we are doing inside this local repository will directly affect the Git repository, which means the dummy repository in our GitHub. To verify if it is added or not, we have to type git remote. Now this will show you an origin for this local repository. how to remove this one? We have connected successfully our local repository and the Git repository. If you want to remove this one, just type git remote. We have added here. Now we are going to remove the origin. Press enter. Now we have removed. Let's check. Now see, nothing to display here. Now I am again going to add this one. Yeah, that's it. Now we have successfully created the link between the local repository and the Git repository, which means the dummy repository in the GitHub. Now let's try working here. We're gonna retrieve the data from the Git repository to the local repository here. To do that, remember we have to use git pull command. So let's try git pull from where? From origin, and within the origin from the main branch. Type that one and press enter. Now, yeah, that's it. You will be seeing the files which we have retrieved from the Git repository. Yeah, from here. Now let's try doing some changes here and push those changes to the Git repository. But we are not going to push those changes within this terminal, but we are going to use this GitHub extension that Visual Studio Code is providing us. Go to that one and you can see the commit button here. And let's try deleting this file for the change. And you can see here Visual Studio Code's GitHub is actually updated this one. Go to the Git extension and you can see the commit button here. Commit that one, give yes. It will be asking you for a commit message. Give give a message and give this tick icon here. That's it. Now give sync changes. Give OK. That's all. Now let's check our GitHub for changes. Yeah, that's it. It has been vanished. So with this we are completing our module 3. To summarize our learnings, we have seen how to clone the Git repository to the local repository. We have learned about staging area, working area, local repository and Git repository. How to push the data from local repository to the Git repository, which includes git add, git commit and git push. And we have seen about git pull to retrieve the data from Git to the local repository. Then we have learned to connect the local and Git repository. Now let's check what are all the branches which is available in this local repository. To do that, type this code git branch -a. Press enter and you will be seeing it main branch, because in the GitHub we are having only one branch, which is main here. You can able to create another branch here by typing the name of the branch here. Maybe branch 1. It shows create branch 1. Click that one and a branch with the name branch 1 has been created. Note this, when you creating a branch, the data which is available in the main branch will be visible here also. Remember this one, when you are creating a branch, the data, the files which is available in the main branch will also be available in this sub branch. Now let's check this one in our Visual Studio Code. Open the VS Code and type here git pull to retrieve the changes from the Git repository. Now let's type git branch -a. Press enter and you will be seeing the branch 1 here. So have you noticed that the main branch is in green color, but this one is not here? It's because we are inside the main branch in our local repository. So how to go inside the branch 1? To do that, type git checkout and to where? To the branch 1. Press enter and you have switched to the new branch 1. Let's now check. Press enter and see, now it's showing in green color. It means now you are inside the new branch 1 in the local repository. If you are not getting the new branches that we have created in the Git repository, but you are not getting in the local repository even though you have used the Git pull, you can use an alternative, which is git fetch -all. Press enter and it will fetch us all the information from the Git repository to the local repository. The difference between the git fetch and git pull is the git pull will retrieve the data from the Git repository to the local repository, whereas the git fetch will download all the changes from the Git repository to the local repository. Like if you have created a new branch, it will download those new branch into your local repository. Now let's create a new file within this branch 1 and let's push that file into the Git repository branch 1. To do that, let's create a file here with the name new file 3 and let's type something here. Now this one is showing untracked here, which is it is not added yet. Let's add that one. Git add. Now it is added. Now we should be commit this one to the local repository first. To do that, git commit with a message new file created. Press enter and it is committed to the local repository. Now we have to push this file to the Git repository branch 1. To do that, type git push to the origin and in the origin we have to push this file to the branch 1. Branch 1. Press enter and that's it. Let's check here. Within the GitHub, within the branch 1, let's refresh our page. And yeah, it's added here. So why branching is used? As we discussed earlier, the branching will be used in the place where you are in a team and you are working separately on a particular files. Then after completing your work, you are pushing those files into the main branch. Now here we have created a new file. Now we are going to merge these files with our main branch. This branch is one commit ahead of main, which means we have created a one change here in this branch apart from the main branch. So to merge, click this one and it is checking the availability to merge and it is showing able to merge now. The branch 1, which is the compare branch, is going to merge with the base branch, which is the main branch here. But you cannot merge directly a sub branch to the main branch. For the security purposes, you cannot do that. So to do, we have to select which branch we have to merge with the main branch, select that one and create a pull request. You have to press create a pull request. First of all, what is a pull request? So a pull request is a request to merge changes from one branch into the another in remote repository. So let's give this one and it will be asking you a message and a detailed description for creating a pull request. Let's give this message with the description. I have added Fine. Now you create a pull request. That's it. Now your team leader will see this pull request here, and he will open this one and read this description. Then he will merge your branch with the main branch if everything is fine. Let's give confirm merge, and that's it. You have successfully merged that file with the main branch here. Let's see. Yeah, in the main branch it is available here, and it is also available in the branch 1 also. You can also create a new branch in the Visual Code terminal also. To do that, let me clear the terminal and let's type git branch and the name of the branch. Let's type branch 2. Click enter and a branch has been created. To verify that, git branch -a, press enter, and you can see the branch 2 is created here. Let's go into that one. To do that, git check out to branch 2. Yeah, now we are within the branch 2. Let's verify. Yes. So let's create a new file here in this branch. You can see that the files which is available in the main branch is also now available in this branch 2. Let's create another file here, new file 4, which is untracked. Now we have to commit this one by first git add, git commit with a message, new file added, and then it is added to the local repository. Now we have to add this to the Git repository. To do that, git push to the origin and to the branch 2. Press enter and it has been successful. Refresh this page and now you can see here a branch 2 has been added with a new file 4. Now let's try to merge these files with the main branch. Give this one and we are going to merge branch 2 with the main branch. Create a pull request with and then open the pull request section. Here you can see a new file added, pull request. Go into that, merge the pull request and confirm the merge, and that's it. You have to get that file in the main branch. Yeah, done. Now let's try to write something here in this file, and let's add this file to the local repository again. Let's write that's it. You commit changes with a commit message and with a description. Give the commit changes, and that's it. Now I'm gonna open the Visual Studio Code here and going to git pull from the origin and from the branch 2. Press enter and that's it. In the new file 4, now there is nothing updated here. It's because we have edited the file in the main branch, but we have called that one in the branch 2, and that's why it is nothing updated here. Let's try to shift to the main branch again, and now we are in the main branch here. Let's pull the changes again, git pull origin and main, and that's it. Everything has been pulled from the Git repository to the local repository main branch. See, this new file is also updated from the main branch to this local repository main branch. Now let's talk about merge conflict. So what's that? A merge conflict occurs when Git cannot automatically merge two branches because both have changes in the same part of a file. This usually happens when two people edit the same line in a file. So let's try to understand that one by doing this. I have deleted every files that we have created in the main branch. Now I gonna delete this branch 1 and 2 now. Go to view all branches. Here you can see the branch 1 and branch 2. Delete that one, delete, go to code, and here you can see the branch 1 and 2 has been deleted. Now I gonna create two branches. Before that I gonna create a file here with a name, maybe color. Now I am giving a color to default. Commit changes, give commit changes. Here I am going to create one branch with the name branch 1, and again I gonna create another branch here with the name branch 2. Yeah, two branches have been created. Now in the branch 2 I gonna edit this file. I'm going to change this color to red, maybe. Commit changes, commit changes. Now I'm going to the branch 1. I'm again going to edit this file to give color, maybe blue. I'm going to main again. See, it is showing default. So what do you think? If I merge the branch 1 and 2 with the main branch, it will show either red or blue. Let's try doing that. Go to pull request and create a new pull request here. Within that, I gonna combine the branch 1 with the branch 2. Now I am going to merge the branch 1 with the main branch here. So it is showing able to merge. So I am going to click the create pull request, and the request has been created here. It is checking and it is showing that no conflicts with the base branch. Now we are ready to merge the pull request. Confirm merge, and now it has been merged with the main branch. So what do you think? In the main branch, the color should be blue. That's right. Now let's try to merge the branch 2 with this main branch. Let's try doing that. New pull request. We are going to merge the branch 2 with the main branch. And it is showing can't automatically merge. So why is that? We are trying to merge the same line which is showing blue. We are trying to replace that with a red color. Let's try to create a pull request here. Again create a pull request, and this will result in the merge conflict here. Now this one is showing this branch has conflicts that must be solved. So click the resolve conflicts here, and you can see in the main branch it is showing blue, but in branch 2 it is showing red. What can I do? GitHub is asking us. So here you can erase everything in the main branch, and you can also erase the branch 2, You can erase this one and you can click this mark as resolved. Commit merge and the blue will be replaced with the red. Let's check that one. Color. So this is showing this branch has conflicts that must be resolved. Click the resolve conflicts button and here you can see the branch 2 have the color red, but the branch 1 and the main branch which we have merged have the color blue. So what can you do? You can simply delete this one and also this one here, and I'm gonna change this to red color. Mark as resolved, commit merge. So that's it. So the point is you have to manually do the merging process when the merge conflict occurs. See, now the merge conflict has been solved, no conflicts with this branch. Now click the merge pull request. Again confirm the merge and that's it. The branch 2 has been successfully merged with the main branch. Now let's verify that one with the color in the main branch and you can see the color red. So with this we are about to complete our module 4. To summarize our learnings, we have seen that what is branching, what is merging, what is pull request, what is merge conflict. In the next module, we're going to discuss about how you can host your web projects online using GitHub. Now in this module 5, we're going to discuss about how you can host your web projects online using GitHub. To do that, I have created two web projects here. The one is the to-do list. You can type anything, add, strike it out, undo, and you can close it. The another one is a quiz game. You can select a correct answer, wrong answer, correct answer, and well, that's it. So to host this website, open your browser and search for github.com. Go inside the GitHub dashboard, create a new repository here with a username, and the repository name would be web projects. Create repository. Well, that's it. A repository has been created. Now click here to upload an existing file. Click that one, choose your file. I have saved my projects in the desktop, sample projects, and I'm gonna host this to-do list now. Select the files that you have to host, open. Well, that's it. The files has been added, commit changes, and that's it. Now this HTML code contains some images within that one. To add the images, you have to create a separate folder with the same name that I have created here. This one, images. So you cannot manually create a folder here. There is no option to create a folder here. But to do that, create a new file, go into this one and type your folder name here, and it would be images. Type a slash and this one will act like a folder here. Say for example, let's create a dummy.txt file here, commit changes, and that's it. You have created a folder here. Go into that one, click the add file, upload files, and choose your files. Go to the images section and select all the images, open, and that's it. Give commit changes. So now everything is good to go. Now we are ready to host this web project online using GitHub. To do that, go into settings and there you can see the pages tab. Go into that one and here make sure that you are within the deploy from a branch option, and here select the branch. In our case we have created that one in our main branch, so click that one and make sure that you are within the root folder. Click save and wait for some time for the arrival of our link for our web project. To see what's happening behind the scene, go to code, and here you can see a yellow dot. It is showing bending. Click that one, and here you can see the process. Give details, and our website is setting up now. Wait until the completion of this one. Once if it is completed, go back we have to wait until the deployment. If it is deployed, again go to the settings, again go to the pages section, and here you can see your site is live at this link. And that's it, a link for your repository has been provided. Just copy this link like this and go to the code here. We have to target this home.html to make our website accessible. To do that, add an additional tab, copy this one, and I have to target this home.html. Press enter. Well, that's it. Now your web project is now online. You can also host multiple web projects by creating folders within the repository and targeting those folders in the link. For example, go to your dashboard here, and I'm gonna create another folder. Create new file, and to create a folder, in the file name section type project2 slash, and this one now acts like a folder. Within that one, create a dummy text file, give commit changes, and that's it. Within this project2 folder, I'm gonna add another website of mine. I'm going to upload files, choose your file, and here let's go back. Within desktop, within sample projects folder, we are going to host this quiz application now. Open that one. Well, that's it. Give commit changes, and here you can see the project2 folder. Within that one, you can see these files of our web project. So to target this one, again paste the link here, and within the web projects, within the folder of project2 and slash home.html. Press enter. Well, that's it. So with this, we are completing our module 5. To summarize our learnings, we have learned that how to create a folder in GitHub, how to host your website, and how to host multiple websites in GitHub. So in this module 6, we are going to do a task. Our mission is to host this weather application online by using GitHub, by utilizing all the concepts that we have learned from the module 1 till now. You can type any city name here, and you will be getting the temperature as well as the humidity and the wind speed here. So to do that, assume a team consists of 2 members, namely Tom and Nick. Tom is going to work in a HTML and CSS project. Meanwhile, the Nick is going to work in the JavaScript project. Let James be the team leader for this weather application project. So to do this task, first of all we have to create a repository, and the main branch is going to be handled by the James, the team leader. We are going to create 2 branches, one for Tom and another one for Nick. So Tom is going to work in the HTML and CSS project in this branch. After completing both of them, Tom will send his project to Nick branch. and Nick will start to work on the JavaScript by keeping this HTML and CSS as reference. After completing the JavaScript file, Nick will push those files, the HTML, CSS and JavaScript files together to the main branch. Now James is going to host this weather application online using GitHub. See, this one is a very easy task. You can do it by your own. To do this, I have already created a weather application here. I have already created this one. I gave the link to download this weather application in the description below. So try doing this task by yourself. If you have any doubts, don't worry, I'm gonna do this task for you now. So let me close this one and let's open the GitHub. github.com and see, you can see the dashboard here. Let me create a new repository for hosting this weather application online. Here is the username. Let's give the name as weather app and let's create a repository. That's it. Now here I'm going to create a file, namely general info. Here let's give a general information for Tom and Nick. Tom should be working in HTML and CSS. Nick should be working in JavaScript file. Let's give commit changes and give commit changes again. And that's it. Now in this repository we are going to create two branches here. One is Tom branch and again we are going to create another branch, namely Nick branch. And that's it. We have successfully created two branches within this main branch. Now open the Visual Studio Code here and we have to create a local repository to work with the remote repository that we have created just now. To do that, create a folder in any drive. Let me say weather app here also. And this folder is going to be the local repository for us. Let me minimize this one and open the Visual Studio Code. Let me open a folder. We have to target that folder within the F drive here. Select the folder. Give yes, I trust the author. Now we are within that folder we have created now. Go to View and open the terminal here. Make sure that we are within the weather app folder. Now let's initialize this one as an empty repository. Initialized an empty Git repository here. Now we are going to connect the remote repository and this local repository to work with. To do that, go here, click the code button and copy the HTTPS link. Minimize, and here we are going to connect both of them. Git remote add, and you have to give origin as its name and the link we have copied. Well, that's it. Now the weather application, which is this local repository, and the Git repository, which is the remote repository, both have connected successfully. To verify that one, let's type git branch -a. It's not coming. Let's close this one and again open. Git branch -a. Well, that's it. It is showing a main branch, Nick branch and Tom branch here. Now we are going to create the HTML and CSS file within the Tom branch. To do that, we have to shift to this Tom branch. So type git checkout and Tom branch. Now we have successfully switched to a new branch, namely Tom. Now we are within the Tom branch. Here we are going to create a HTML file to work with. Home.html and another file for CSS, home.css. Well, for the coding, I have already typed everything in this sample project weather application. So I'm gonna copy everything from this weather application project. Open this folder and let's copy every HTML code as well as every CSS code from here. Let me close this one. Let me again open the Visual Studio Code and let's open the local repository. Now we are within this local repository. Let's paste the code here, which is this one, and the HTML code, which is here, and that's it. Now it is showing untracked, which means our files are in the working area. Now we have to add these files to the staging area. To do that, let's type git add and dot, enter. Now both the files have been added to the staging area. Now from here we have to commit these files to the local repository. To do that, type git commit hyphen message and within double quotation type a message, namely HTML and CSS creator. Press enter. Well, that's it. Now these two files has been committed to the local repository. Now we have to push both these files to the Tom branch in the remote repository. To do that, git push origin and we are pushing to the Tom branch. So type Tom branch. Press enter. Well, that's it. Now let's check in the GitHub folder. Go to the Tom branch. Yeah, here you can see the home.html and the home.css folder. We have to also add the images folder here. Let's try doing that one here. Go to sample projects, weather application, and we have to add this one. Let's copy this folder and let's paste it here. Paste. That's it. All these are untracked. We have to again do the same process. Git add dot git commit hyphen message, within the message images added and git push origin and to the Tom branch. And that's it. Let me refresh this page and here you can see the images folder. Now go to the pull request here, create new pull request. Now we are going to merge the Tom branch with the Nick branch here. Now it is showing able to merge. Let's create that one. Create pull request. Let's go here and again come here. Well, that's it. It is showing no conflicts with the base branch. Now let's merge this one. Confirm merge. Now Jerry is seeing the pull request from Tom and he is merging this one. Now Nick is seeing the pull request from Tom and he is merging with his branch. Now I am again going to code, go to Nick branch, and here you can see the files from the Tom branch. Now we are going to work with the Nick branch here. Let me clear this one, and we have to shift to the Nick branch. Git checkout Nick branch. Well, that's it, we have switched successfully. Now we are within the Nick branch here. So let me create another file, home.js. Let's open the weather application folder. Let's click this one. Let's open this with a notepad, and here you can see all the code for the JS file for this weather application. Now I am going to paste everything here, and that's it. Now it is in the working area. We have to add this one to the staging area. To do that, git add dot, that's it. Now git commit this one to the local repository with a message. That's it. It should be file. Okay. Now we have to push this one to the Nick branch there in the remote repository. To do that, git push origin and Nick branch. Press enter. Well, that's it. Now let's check here, refresh, and here you can see the home.js file is also added to the Nick branch. Well, the work for Tom and Nick is now over. Nick should push all these files to the main branch. To do that, go to pull request, create a new pull request, and we are pushing to the main branch from the Nick branch. Now it is showing able to merge. Now create a pull request. In this description section, let's type something. And that's it. Let's create a pull request. It is checking for conflicts, and there is no conflicts. Merge the pull request. Now James will check the pull request here. Now he will be seeing this one from the Nick branch. He will be going inside this one. He is seeing no conflicts, so merge the pull request. Once James merged this one, let's go to the code here again. In the main branch, you will be seeing the images folder, home.html, home.css, and home.js. All the files are now available. So in this main branch, James can see weather.images and home.html, home.css, home.js. All the files which is needed for our weather application is now here. Now the work for James is to host this repository, this weather application online using GitHub. To do that, we have learned how to do this one in our module 5. So let's try doing that again. Go to settings, and here go to pages. Within this one, confirm you are in the deploy from a branch here, and select the main branch, select the root folder here, and click save. Go to code again. Here you can see a yellow dot, bending. It is showing bending. You can see the details behind the scene, what's happening here. You can see here. You should wait until the deployment process completed. Well, the build process now completed, we have to wait until the deployment. And that's it. Our web project is now deployed. Again go to code, and here we are going to settings again to the pages. Now you can see our site is live at this particular link. Now I am going to copy this link and let's paste it here, and we have to target the home.html. Well, that's it. Our weather application is now successfully online. Let's try type something here. Yeah, it's working here. Okay. Now our weather application is perfectly working. So our task is now completed. With this, we are in the end of our module 6. In the module 7, we're gonna discuss about git ignore and some additional features in the GitHub. So in this module 7, we're gonna discuss about some of the additional features in Git and GitHub. To be particular, we're gonna look about what is a readme file and .git ignore. To begin with, first of all, what is a readme file? A readme file is used to communicate some of the important information about your project or about your repository. To put it simply, you can include some of the basic and important information about your project or about your repository within the readme file, and you can also include some of the repository license, citation file and contribution guidelines also in the readme file. So it is easy for the users who is opening your repository will first open your readme file initially, and after reading the important basic instructions, they can very well easily work with your repository. So how you can create a readme file? To do that, open the dashboard of your GitHub and you can simply create a readme file within the existing repository like this. Go to add file and create a new file. Here you can type readme.md to create a readme file, but this is not the canonical way to do this. So we will usually create a readme file when we are creating a new repository. To do that, open the dashboard again and consider that you are creating a new repository here. Click new and here type the repository name. I am typing dummy2 and type here the description of your repository, and you can see a checkbox here. Tick this one to add a readme file. Select this one and create repository. Now you can see a dummy2 repository is created, and within that one a readme file is also created. Open that one and you can type anything here by editing this one. You can type any basic information about your repository here. Now let's talk about .git ignore. The .git ignore file will tells the Git to ignore the files which is mentioned within the .git ignore file. So to learn this, let me first create a local repository here. Let me create a new folder, namely dummy2. Let me close this one and open the Visual Studio Code here. Within the Visual Studio Code, open the file, open folder, and here you can open the folder dummy2, and I'm going to initialize this one as a local repository. To do that, open the view section and here open the terminal. Here you can see this one. Let me type git init for initializing this one as a local repository. Next, I'm going to connect the remote repository, which is the Git repository, and this local repository. To do that, open this and copy the link of our Git repository. Then come here and type git remote add origin and the link. Press enter. Now let me type git remote -v to check whether the Git repository is successfully linked with the local repository. To verify that one, we are typing this command. Press enter. Well, you can see the origin and with the origins link. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create multiple files here. Now I have created multiple files within this local repository, and notice that every file is untracked, which means it is not even added and committed to the local repository itself. Now our task is to commit all the files within the local repository excluding this text3 and text6. So think of this, how you can do this one. You may commit all these files separately by excluding the text3 and text6, or you can delete the text3 or text6, but both of these are not the efficient way to do this one. So this is where we are having the .gitignore file to help us. To do that, create a file with the extension .gitignore. A separate Git file is created with the name .gitignore. Here type the files which you have to ignore, which means which you have to exclude in the committing. Let me type text3.txt here, and then text6.txt. Save this one. And now I am going to commit here. Before that, let me check the status of the files within the local repository. Now it is showing these files are not untracked, which means it is not committed to the local repository. But here you can notice that the text3 and text6 is not available. So this means the files which is included within the .gitignore file will be ignored from committing and adding and all. Now you can commit the entire things within the local repository, and that process will exclude the text3 and text6. Git add dot for adding everything, and then I'm going to git commit with a message committed. Well, that's it. Everything is committed to the local repository except the text3 and text6. Now I am going to push these files to the remote repository. To do that, type git push to the origin master branch. Well, that's it. Everything is successfully pushed. Now let me open this one, and here you can see this one. Let me refresh this. And it is showing a master branch is pushed. It is raised a pull request. Let me click this one and see, it is showing text 2, 1, 4, 5 and 7 excluding the text 3 and 6. It is showing .gitignore file also. So that's it guys, that's all about .gitignore. You can simply ignore the files which is not necessary for you. And now we are in the end of our module 7. Congratulations on completing this Git and GitHub crash course. You have taken a huge step towards mastering version control and collaboration. Now you have the tools and knowledge to work efficiently, contribute to projects and streamline your workflow like a pro. But remember, learning does not stop here. Keep practicing, explore more Git features and GitHub features, and apply these skills to your real-world projects. The more you use Git and GitHub, the more confident you will become. If you found this course helpful, don't forget to share it with others who might be benefited from this. And if you have any questions or want more content like this, let me know in the comments. And thanks for joining me in this wonderful journey. Keep coding, keep building, and I'll be seeing you in the next video. Till then, bye bye.